So, my first daughter, when she was a baby, and 1 and 2, I didn't know what I was doing. No clue. And you're terrified of making a mistake. And there were a lot of helpful people who gave me a lot of helpful advice. And a lot of it worked. But some of the advice, when I tried it, just didn't feel right. And these are people who had way more experience than me. And there was a moment when my daughter was probably about 2 years old when I realized that no matter what, I was going to make mistakes. That's just life. That's just being human. But if later on in life she asked me why I did what I did, I didn't want my answer to be, well, this person who I knew when you were really little that you don't remember thought it was a good idea. I realized that I'm going to make mistakes, but I want them to be my mistakes. I want to be able to turn around and say, because at the time I thought this, and that, and I thought it was the best thing to do. And what comes with that is also, when you make mistakes, realizing it's not so much a mistake, but a learning, and changing and growing in the learning, and not being afraid to tell your kids that thing I thought was right isn't actually, so I'm gonna do this instead. And that is one of the wonderful things that my mom did. My mom made a lot of mistakes, but she always told me about them. And she always told me what she learned from them and what she was gonna try different. And so in that, you and your children are both learning together. And a lot of people have advice. And a lot of people did whatever it is that you're looking for advice very, very well. But that's what creates the noise in the noise. And no matter how much you respect someone, or how much you think someone's advice isn't worth something, it doesn't matter. It's about going inside of yourself, finding that quiet, and listening to what feels right to you. Knowing that you're gonna make mistakes. This is life, you are human. But make sure the mistakes are yours, so you can learn from them. We all have our learning paths. Make sure your learning path is yours. I think of when my kids were little and they'd do stuff. Like, they'd start doing something, and me being much older, I could see, you're gonna get hurt. And so I'd warn them, I can see this, and that coming from what you're doing, whether it was social, or monkey bars, or swings, or whatever it was. And sometimes they'd listen, but sometimes they just needed to experience it for themselves so they could learn. And we are all the same. sometimes we just have to experience it for ourselves so we can learn. And the lesson that we learn usually is so much deeper and so much more dynamic than the lesson someone told us we would learn. And this is life. So when multiple or one person gives you advice, no matter who they are, no matter what the advice is, whether it's spiritual, kids, what job you should do, no matter what it is, be thankful that you have this advice. Be grateful, but always check in with yourself. Always check in with your heart. And if you aren't sure, go ahead, try it out. But when you get that feeling that you know, don't be afraid to correct course. No matter who it is giving the advice. Because what's right for someone else might not necessarily be right for you. When my daughter was born, everybody said children aren't born with instructions. But we were all born with instructions. Every single one of my daughters was born with their own instructions. You just have to become quiet and listen. Listen to them. Listen to yourself. And in life, when it's just you're trying to figure out, you have the instructions. Sometimes you have to wander down a path to hear them. Don't be afraid to course correct. This is life. You'll make mistakes. Make sure they're your mistakes. Make sure they're your journey. Make sure they're your lessons. And make sure you know why you chose the things you chose. And if you don't know in the beginning, then reflect on everything that you've learned, and you will know. Love you all.